Hey people, Intruder here, welcome back to the Elite League show. We're in the semi-finals. This is Calderis Refinery, and on the blue side is Toilailee as an Inquisitor, offensive hero with powerful control abilities, begins in melee combat but can get specialized ranged weapons. Up against Little Devil Lacia with a Hive Tyrant, very durable hero, walks through objects and cannot be suppressed, powerful offense, disruption and support, begins in melee combat with a basic synapse. I shall call it Gonzalo. Is that even a Spanish name? I don't know. Toilailee we saw in the quarterfinals doing some very nasty things with double Sentinels. Lacia we did not see in the quarterfinals, unfortunately, because her opponent couldn't play. Has gone triple Hormagaunts, which doesn't seem perhaps the best way to go against Toilailee's double Sentinels, and there is that second one. Seems like a pretty good matchup for Toilailee here. Hive Tyrant lumbering towards the central victory point. In the background, some guardsmen taking shots at Hormagaunts, but now having to back the hell away. Those guys jumping over stuff under Synapse. First ground pound is up. Second Sentinel hits the field, and Lacia is going to need some Ravener Broods up, I think. And that could be a little while. Inquisitors on the eastern side, getting stuck into some Hormagaunts. Can she get a special attack while they move around? There we go. Look at that. Hits every single model, I think. See how important special attacks are in melee fights. Gets rid of them. Not really able to make much of an impact very early. Did get that central VP, but now Toilailee should be able to get out there and cap stuff. Maybe shoot up this Hive Tyrant too. We have some guardsmen capping within eyesight. There's that Sentinel doing its thing. Do we have double ground pound up? We don't. This could be very difficult for Lacia. Here comes the first Ravener Brood. Gonna need another one, I would think. Hive Tyrant now getting stuck in to some guardsmen. That's only a special attack hitting a single model though. Come on, Gonzalo. Takes him out. The stomp does hit the Hive Tyrant. I thought that was too far away. Hormagaunts coming in though. Should be able to do some work here. No more stomp for that Sentinel. Guardsmen certainly can't fight them in melee combat. Is it these fellas? Is it these fellas? It's these fellas. It's these fellas. Okay. Inquisitor coming in to get Hammer of the Witches on the Hive Tyrant here, of course. She's got a bunch of XP already. Getting stuck into the Hormagaunts and deals with them. Hive Tyrant just trying to hold up things here. Ravener Brood is on the field. They of course start with their ranged Devourer weapons these days. Here they are. So good DPS as well in those little bursts, using their Burrow Strike, I think, to escape. There we go. They could of course Burrow Strike in, disrupt the Guardsmen and bait out the stomp, allowing the Hormagaunts to get in. Allowing also the Hive Tyrant to get in, because don't forget that Gonzalo over here could also be stomped by those Sentinels, as we saw. And Toilailee, of course, so good at using them. A lot of people might say, hey, double Sentinels are overpowered in Drid. Well, not many players can use them this well. There's a reason why you don't see all Imperial Guard players going double Sentinels, because it's not easy to do. Hormagaunts trying to run up the west side, but Toilailee is live to it. Might come and get a few shots on the power too. There's one generator up. Don't see any flamers in play. Straight tier 2 for a Chimera, I guess. Maybe even drop in a Bane Wolf for some fun. Might see a full power bash here. Ravener Brood coming in, but they're alone for now. Choose a target, shoot down the Inquisitor, I say. She is in heavy cover though. There's a Burrow Strike, I think, again to escape. Yes, it was. We saw them turn around there. Second Ravener Brood on the way for Lacia. That crossbow bolt pistol is up. So more ways to screw up the Hormagaunts and the Hive Tyrant coming in. She's very close to level 2 as well. There's that second Ravener Brood. Now, we might see those Sentinels put under some pressure. Hammer of the Witches going down on the Hive Tyrant. Gonzalo gets away, gets the improved synapse up. 467, 415 on the VPs, fully bashed and decapped over here. That stomp was a mistake. Come on, Toilailee, I just said you're really good at using Sentinels. Slight misjudgment. He might have been in on the old vodka or something. Or whatever they drink in Finland. Everything, I think. They got a decap here. And Lacia is on the power. She's not playing it terribly so far, despite the apparent mismatch in terms of builds. Catachun's now on the field for Toilailee. Does not go straight into tier 2. Good stomp on the Hormagaunts. They're going to just drop models if they stand there. Shotguns coming into play now. I believe the Catachun shotguns do not do extra damage as they get closer. Here's the double Raveners. What are they going to shoot at? Some guardsmen. They seem to do absolutely no damage with that burst. Burrow striking away. Again, there it is. And Gonzalo is capping. Already kind of low on hit points though. Up to 1200 with the improved synapse. Power being bashed on the east side, and Toilailee takes control of the mid. You feel like she really needs to get rid of one of these Sentinels, Lacia, to stand a chance here. But it's not going to get any better when the Chimera hits the field and you're trying to chase the Chimera through a mass of bodies and Sentinels. Toilailee's so good at keeping that thing out of harm's way. Here we go. This could be a big fight for Lacia. Gets a stomp though. Does Toilailee. The Sentinel is already in play, in position to get that. And a full retreat now for Lacia. Can now do some extra decapping, although we do have Hormagaunts moving up the mid to the natural VP. Lassi using that as a distraction perhaps. 467, 353. Tier 2 for Toilailee. Gets there in good time. And can now bash power again. Catachun's in play makes this a lot safer to do. They can disrupt twice with shotgun blast and the grenade launcher. Here we go. Can Lacia do something here? There's a grenade, the shotgun blast. Knockback and suppression. Ravener Brood escaped it. Hive Tyrant trying to get in. Does not have Rending Talons, no. But those Catachuns took a lot of damage very quickly there. Did not use the grenade launcher that I saw. Guess it doesn't help against this guy. Hormagaunts persuaded to leave that VP. Did not get the cap, but did get a decap. Ravener Brood now coming at this west side. Oh, one of the Sentinels goes down. Caught and surrounded by the Hormagaunts, which I'm sure messed up its pathing. But I did not expect the Sentinel to drop to Hormagaunts. Was that a sail? No, that was crippling volley. I'm going to say, not even tier 2 yet. Stabbing him. And another special. Because she's level 2 and they're not, I suppose. Yeah. But slightly more melee skill. And she attacks a lot, so has a lot of chances to proc that special. Attacks pretty quickly. She'll be fine. Some melee on retreat from the very annoyed Raveners. And here comes the Chimera. Lacia needs the Venom Cannon Hive Tyrant, I think. And most likely some Venom Brood as well. Barb Strangler Warriors might be useful to kind of control the Guardsmen, but they can just do the old, hey, we're retreating, just kidding thing. And then use the Commissar in a way. Use this Commissar to stop those retreats. Hive Tyrant has a closer look and decides against going any further. Still level 1. Don't see any more war gear for the Inquisitor, but there is the Chimera support vehicle for Imperial Guard. Allows you to transport and reinforce infantry, and they can shoot out of this thing when they get inside of it. Lacia does have a brood nest up here. Burrow strike, the first offensive one we've actually seen. Maybe wanted to, maybe should have tried to chain those together instead of going both at the same time. Hammer of the Witches takes one down. There's another costly engagement for Lacia. Toilailee seems to be losing like barely any models here in these exchanges. Now both of these squads up to 12 models, reinforcing 3 at a time, and the commissars there able to stop retreats, which is very, very useful because you can just retreat back near your Chimera and stop those retreats, and you're straight back in play. Stomp over on the east. We saw Hormagaunts take out one of the Sentinels. Don't think we'll see missile launch anytime soon. I'd love to see some Ogrins up. But Toilailee will probably just play it safe. Ride out tier 2 with the Chimera. Maybe some Stormtroopers up. 389, 340. A 2-to-1 cap here for Toilailee. Lacia drops in a Tyrant Guard. One of the global abilities for the Hive Tyrant. A new one. Can no longer drop in warriors. Does not wait for it though before going in. Crippling volley just shuts down the entire assault pretty much. Raven is still able to fire, but not achieving a whole lot. Inquisitor hits level 3. Hive Tyrant does have the Venom Cannon. And now going straight on the power here is Toilailee. Knowing that it can be done relatively safely, of course, with the whole retreat thing he can do. Here comes the Tyrant Guard. Ready to mix it up. Good special immediately. Some domino knockback on like 24 models there. Petatrons put down their explosive. Nothing here to spot it either. No detectors on the field for Lacia. Another special. Plasma guns are locked in though. See everything just reinforcing off the Chimera. It's a good grenade launcher. Here comes the Hive Tyrant. Can he put some pressure, that guy, on the Chimera here? Come on, Gonzalo. There's one shot. There's 2 shots. Maybe a rear armor hit here. Boom. Got a little bit of damage on. There's the Hammer of the Witches. And Hormagaunts and the Tyrant Guard getting in. Crippling volley stops that, and these guys can now stop their retreat. There it is. Straight back in play. Reinforcing. Tyrant Guard limps off. Hive Tyrant retreats out. Just could not stop Toilailee's army there. It's like, what do you do? I guess Barb Strangler will stop these guys putting out all their DPS. Force them to retreat, which at least displaces them. Tyrant Guard goes into shield wall. Lacia knowing that there's no anti-vehicle weaponry here. What is this? Oh, Stormtroopers get called in. Leveling up with the Guardsmen. Learning to use those plasma guns slightly better. We've got Hormagaunts over here who are not capping, not doing anything. Come on, fellas. Sentinel just hanging out on that central VP to guard it. Lacia is trying to get rid of this. Tyrant Guard doing massive chunks of damage to these guards, on a good special again. Capillary Tower. Able to get very close to the Guardsman. There's a stomp, and I'm not sure it hits anything. Retreating are the Stormtroopers. That's a Hell Fury strike dropped in. Guardsmen able to stay in place so long with that Chimera support. Now turn to shoot at the Hive Tyrant. An orderly retreat there from Toilailee, and still stays in play with all of this stuff. Straight back after the power. 389, 4, 214. Capillary Tower down. Level 2 and level 2 on his Guardsman. Where is the Inquisitor? She's coming back out of base. Anti-armor Stormtroopers to help take out that Tyrant Guard. Hormigaunt's trying to do some work on the power here, but getting knocked off it. Venabrood is up for Lacia. Can they get anywhere near this Chimera though? Need to try and come in from different angles. Lacia, much easier said than done, of course. Especially when there's a Sentinel often hanging out in the mid to spot things. It's taken some damage and has to back off. Retaking the mid will be the Inquisitor. There's a Brood Nest. Trying to make a stand here is Lacia. Pouring damage on the Guardsmen. They're just not too bothered. And there's that crippling volley again. Just everything perfectly complementing everything else in Toilailee's build. Where are the Catechins? They're capping. We haven't seen what they've seen apparently. Maybe they're talking about Dawn of War 3. Range synapses up to buff these Raveners a bit. Well, quite a lot actually. Turret Guard's actually done quite well. Just so hard to get pressure on the Chimera here. Sentinel's quite low. Toilailee decides to back it off. Turret Guard charges in. And crushes a bunch of them. Now goes after the Inquisitor. She might get caught out here. Surely she'll fall. Former goes to turn around. Maybe. She lives. Unbelievable. Even when Toilailee makes a mistake, nothing dies. Melter Bomb and now Melter Guns on the Turret Guard. Good usage of the Raveners to stop that. And look at this. Lacia pushing all the way through, just brute forced her way through there. Can now bash some gens maybe. Should be able to do it pretty quickly with this build. Oh, Catechins being wily. Dropping their smoke to hold up this entire army with the defensive buffs that it gives them. Hive Tyrant gets into melee. I believe he retains a special attack even with the Venom Cannon in play. Got one generator down. Hive Tyrant does escape, but now there's a whole bunch of stuff waiting to get shot at by plasma guns. And they have to leave. 389144. Hormagaunts, though, are on the central VP. Turret Guard still around. Needs to get back to base, though, I think, to heal up in any decent time. Tier 3 for Toilailee. Has enough for a nuke very soon. And it's going to be a 2-1 again for Toilailee. Capping mid. Guardsmen pushing forward. Bashing stuff as they go, knowing that this is a relatively safe thing to do. 377144. Yeah, they're going for power. Now they've found some turners to shoot. Venom Cannon, Venom Brood backing away, not wanting to take those plasma gun shots. Now this is a range 5 fight that Lacia can win. Until of course these guys have had enough. Retreat back. And then stop that retreat. Chimera doing some work on the west. There's something inside there. I guess it's the Catechins? No. I suppose it's the Stormtroopers. Now some repairs for the Sentinel. Level 2. No missile launcher up. And here's the reinforcement. And it's up to Lacia to push here. And here's an attempt. Explosive goes off. Oh, good grief. Purgatus goes off. Current Guard charges through. Need to get closer to Chimera though. There's the melter. Current Guard goes into shield wall. And again, can't really get close to that Chimera. It's so tough. 377101. Stomp hits the Hive Turret. Thorough strike trying to tie up those Stormtroopers there. They can just duck inside the Chimera, of course, if they need to. Lots of damage on the Raveners here. Can they escape? Imperial Guard, I don't think will. Did Toilailee get any tier 3 stuff? No. Tons of red. Got like 400 red very, very quickly there. Raveners both down to a single model. So much death over here. Which is fine for Imperial Guard. I mean, have these guards... When was the last time these guardsmen actually retreated back to the HQ? They're putting in a shift here. Another push from Lacia. Needs to try and get the Venom Brood and or the Hive Town in from a different angle here. Hard for Toilailee not to see that coming though. Those guys retreat back to be helped out, supported by the Chimera again. Sentinel under pressure, but it's going to be okay. Still that 2-to-1 cap. Lacia running out of time. Needs a heroic push here. Sentinel might be under pressure. Sentinel goes down. Toilailee, I think, was lining up the rocket run. And it's a pretty good one too. Second run. Oh, hits actually quite well. Imperial Guard is in there. Eats a melter bomb. Eats some melter guns as well. Lacia can't retreat really. If she retreats, she loses the game. Needs to try and make something happen. But there's a GG. Lacia concedes. And another very, very strong performance from Toilailee here in the semi-final. Goes one game up. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Hey, people interested here, welcome back to the Elite League show. We're in game 2 of this semi-final. Durillo's Forge and Little Devil Lacia has a force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. This is the Imperial Fists elite scheme recolored. Up against, of course, is Toilailee coming out swinging with a Lord Commissar, strong offense and support, fights in melee combat, begins with a refractor shield. Are we going to see some more double Sentinel shenanigans? Double tax, could see to that, of course, with Devastators and all that good stuff, especially with the Force Commander for the Emperor buffing stuff. There's the first Sentinel for Toilailee. Lord Commissar heading towards the southwest, going to take some bolt gun tickles from the scouts. Well, from one of them. The other two don't seem very interested. That was weird. Tactical Marines ripping through some guardsmen. Two models going down pretty quick there. What's going on? Northeast. Force Commander's hanging out. Capping power. Guardsmen can't do a whole lot about him over there. Maybe they can duck inside the garrison and just annoy him. Sentinel gets the stomp ready. And there it is. Hitting those tacks pretty well. Commissar now gets in. Might see the power sword from this guy. He's got some XP already. Why is he? Oh, the scouts dropped a model. No cap game right now. There he goes. Force Commander's got one. For the Emperor, all that good stuff. His fury knows no bounds. Sentinel's going to come and get a decap, is he? He is. Guardsmen versus scouts. Are they going into melee combat? What is this? Nope. It's a firefight from like 1 meter. Tactical Marines here to help. Choosing to shoot rather than close for melee there. Did a great job with their bolt guns. Commissar stands and looks at them for a second. That's not ominous. Now gets in. Guardsman here to help. Lacia pushed back to her power very early game here. Devastators are up. Did not get the second scouts up or the second tax. Go straight for those devs. Should be able to get them out of this. Oh, maybe not. Commissar gets in. Sneaky, sneaky Toilailee. Hiding behind that wall. Then coming out and taking some hits. Getting some hits in. Multi-laser turret goes up. Toilailee not giving up this power. That was a massive amount of damage in like 1 second of these vengeance rounds at close range there. Almost killed the Commissar. Force Commander with his bolt pistol doing some work against a Sentinel. Is he just waiting for the stomp? That was close. Down goes the Sentinel. In fact, Toilailee misjudging that. One of the Sentinels is down. Trying to shoot up this turret. Doesn't seem to be taking any damage from the vengeance rounds heavy bolter at this range. Tactical Marines dropping a model there. Flamer is on the way. We'll make short work of the turret and also do pretty well against the generators if Lacia gets up there. Force Commander capping. It's a double for Toilailee. He's mostly been sat here on the power. Pretty effectively, it must be said. Can those Marines even get close enough to the turret? Because, of course, we have a stomp here. They'll have to get to like around here to shoot their flamer. Could duck in for a stomp and get out okay, I think. Supported by 2 guardsmen. Even with the Devastators here. Scouts have their shotguns. And more Devastators for Lacia. Lord Commissar needs to back away here. Scouts drop 1. Force Commander runs away. And, oh, the power is abandoned after it's taken out by the Flamer, or at least threatened by the Flamer. And then Toilailee might have just salvaged it. But a whole bunch of work done down there. Power was locked down for ages. Still hasn't been noded. And took out the odd Marine here and there too. Good stomp. Gets the retreat. This is bad, bad news for these guardsmen. Ouch. Vengeance rounds doing their thing. Commissar getting a cap at the top for the double. Heavy bolter here for Toilailee. Help control movement in the mid there. The Force Commander can't run around unopposed when the Sentinel's not around. Sentinel gets in again for a stomp. Nicely done. Coming in from the bottom, avoiding the firing up of the Devastators. There's that Force Commander though, and that bolt pistol does some work. Runs into a heavy bolter and has to flee. There's a double again. Scouts is it down here? Yep. So at least it's not a triple. Toilailee losing his guardsman over here, I think. Lacia now on the front foot. Commissar's down. Guardsman dropped. One of the Sentinels went down too. Now has to try and deal with double Devastators. Goes for some spotters up here. Lacia's turn maybe to sit on his power and keep it locked down and bashed. Drop pod here. Eats the stomp again. Could have moved a little bit to avoid that. It's not the end of the world. These guys are back in play with their flamer. And these guys using the cover of the drop pod to resist that suppression for a while. Sentinel being annoying. These guys have to turn around. Here come more Devastators. We've got some more heavy bolters for you. Spotters doing their thing. Where are they? Over there. Gonna get a full bash, maybe? Yes, when the smoke goes away. There we go. First time we've seen Toilailee on the back foot for a while in the old Elite League. The Sentinel's going to go down here. There we go. 259 to 500. Big VP lead for Toilailee, but is dropping units here. Commissar gets in. No power sword. Still a massive pain in the arse. Trying to get through onto the devs. These guys are dropping a model, and oh, it's just a smoke shot. Takes them out of the fight though for a little while. I thought they were down to a single model there for a second. Power bashed. Time to grab mid. Oh, scouts are doing it. Force Commander has that. Going to be a triple cap here for Lacia. Big turnaround. End of tier 1. Vengeance rounds again. Mortar comes in and disrupts them. I'm not sure how much damage these fellas do with their las guns. If it's just the same as guardsmen, it must be higher. There's only 3 of them. There's the smoke. Of course, when I'm trying to have an influence now in these fights. It's been off capping for a while. Wants to get stuck in. That's what he's all about. Scouts here with a sergeant now getting their elite training so they can infiltrate. Reinforcing off the drop pod there. Of course, Commander shrugging off the lasgun fight and decaps the power. Look at the map now. Toilailee with just the power down here and that wreck point, which is going to be decapped. There's a hell of a lot to make up here. Lost 2 Sentinels and Guardsmen. And that's painful. For Commissar. For Mr. Commissar over here, he gets away. Oh, you didn't get a decap, Scouts. Wants to deal with this first, I suppose. Does Lacia. 259 to 365. There's that triple. Guesses wrong with the grenade. And now you need to run. There's still Devastators here to lock this down. A single artillery spotter shell isn't going to deal with them. Guardsmen are here. Can try and get into melee maybe, but that's risky. As you can see, heavy bolters are painful for Guardsmen at this range. And look at that. 1 more second of firing and they would have been turned to mulch. Drop pod eventually goes down. There we go. Did you get XP for that? Doesn't seem like you got very much. Tactical Marines are there faster capping. Doing their thing. Devastators here covering this approach. Oh, these guys are eventually persuaded to leave. Lord Commissar gets straight on the VP. It's hard to see a way back though. Stormtroopers on the way now for Toilailee. Could get assault kits. Open up with some grenades from funny angles. Get the Devastators out of play. There's only 1 Stormtrooper squad for now. Tactical Marines backing up their Force Commander. Devastators, sorry, Heavy Weapons Squad trying to come into play. But gets too close. It's a good grenade by Lacia. And takes out 2 models. Nicely done. Force Commander getting in on the Commissar. Not a whole lot he can do here. And this approach is covered. And there is the concede from Toilailee. It's now 1 game each in this best of 5 series. Started strongly. Started very strongly on the power here. But Lacia, taking out the Sentinel, taking out those Guardsmen in the mid, got on the power herself and locked it down for a good while. Toilailee did not see a way back in. Had some time, had a tech advantage, but decides to go for the next game, 1-1, and I'll see you there. Hey people, Intrude here, back with Game 3 of this Elite League semi-final. We're on Fedred Folly, and on the blue side, it's Lacia rocking a Warlock, a melee spellcaster that can leap into combat, some powerful disruption, support, and offense. This is the same Han Elite scheme, I think, recolored gold. Up against, on the red side, is Toilailee with a Chaos Sorcerer offensive and disruptive hero with powerful battlefield manipulation. We got a Black Legion badge and a white scheme. Howling Banshees on the way for Lacia. This is 1 apiece in this best of 5 series. Double Heretics on the way. Needs to see some Destructor in fun for the Warlock, I guess. It's basically his favourite thing to do. Find some Heretics, some poor, unsuspecting, unupgraded Heretics, and throw a Destructor on their face. And then jump on them. Who wins this fight? Seems pretty even. Good special there from the Warlock. And then a knockdown jump. Here comes some Heretics. CSM there scaring off some Dire Avengers. That was a Destructor. Doom Blast. Not sure that was the best usage of a Doom Blast, but hey, who cares about Heretics dying suddenly and violently? Gets the Warlock out of there and maybe gets both of the natural victory points. Some Howling Banshees in the southeast grabbing the contested. And they might be able to get onto the power here alongside those Dire Avengers. Some more CSM for Toilailee. Heretics. Oh, they are coming here to fight the Banshees, but they might be flanked really nastily, especially if these guys get grenades up. It's not a good fight for you, Heretics. Banshees get the cap on the wreck point. Now can come and fight, get some XP. Need their aspiring champion to stand with the Howling Banshees in tier 1. Some melee on retreat over here. Pretty even opening so far. Warlock gets that natural victory point back. Banshees maybe having a look at their power. They might have just been chasing the Heretics there. Doom Bolts. That could have been very, very nasty. And now double CSM with some melee attacks on retreat. The Banshees, though, do not lose a model. Now they have some Shuriken support. Looks like these guys are going to be kind of isolated at the start. Sorcerer does have several ways to deal with setup teams throughout the game. They went for the cap, then found some CSM. Suppression, but no Banshees to follow it up. No Dire Avengers to follow it up. Here's some. No sign of the aspects. Shuriken allows you to set up so many things with that suppression. Chuck grenades in or just get Banshees on them. Now going to try and lock down this natural VP perhaps with some Shuriken play. And another Shuriken is coming. And some Raptors on the way here for Toilailee. CSM will be shut down. Destructor flies out but doesn't seem to hit. Warlock does not finish the cap. Now we got some Tzeentchian worship. You can hear it. And of course you can see the Heretics worshipping too. You need double Heretics worshipping to infiltrate everything. A good Doom Bolts just immediately gets rid of those Banshees. Now Lassi has seen the Raptors. We might see Merciless Witchblade in response. Needs to try and keep the double Shuriken staggered so you can't jump both of them easily. They do have a slightly cheaper jump these days, Raptors. Here we go. Right into the path of the other Shuriken, but able to just run in there. Was not targeting them specifically. And that's a good engagement for Toilailee. Could get on the VP, decap it, and control this kind of raised platform here. Contested power is blue and noded. You have double gens up and just a node here for Toilailee. No upgrades for these Heretics yet. Double CSM Raptors, I suppose, will deliver a lot of damage to Banshees. And they really need to try and stay out of trouble. Try and stay isolated. Find Heretics like that. Warlock comes jumping into the back lines. Again, the double Shurikens are dealt with. Sorcerer now has his teleport, so it's going to be tough for Lacia to make those double Shurikens work if everything's here. Gonna need some grenade shenanigans. Punish those jumps in. And the Banshees might need to stick around and be part of those bigger fights, which is generally bad for them. The Warlock can support them with some nice war gear, but no sign of any of it. 474, 390, 2-to-1 cap. Lacia needs to try and make these double shurikens pay off. Perhaps not the smartest build against this sorcerer, with so many ways to deal with shurikens, not to mention the raptors coming up. Speaking of raptors, we're going to see a jump hit. Lacia retreats them before. Oh, maybe that was a missed retreat. I think maybe she wanted to get rid of the... Yeah, wanted to get the Dire Avengers out of there. But they fall. Another good fight for Toilailee. Had a few in a row now, and that's how you win these games. Lacia gets on the VP. Banshees doing some work on this east side for sure. Chopping up some heretics. There's a Doombolts in their face. Managed to shrug off the damage, and now they can... Nope, they're not going to try and even bash. Would have been straight back on them pretty quickly. It's a lot of reinforcing for Toilailee to do, though. No Mercy the Switchblade. No, doesn't really have a plan for these raptors. Does Lacia. Maybe try and keep the Warlock kind of away from them so they can get that leap in. Pretty sure there's a minimum range on a leap. Not completely sure though. Don't remember seeing him jumping in from like right close to stuff. There's the sorcerer doing his thing. Immediate special attack as well. Infiltrating these heretics. But they are being spotted. They just got too close, I think. Another teleport in from the Chaos Sorcerer. Tying up the shurikens. Just really struggling to make these work right now, Lacia. Feel like those Banshees need to be around to threaten things, but they are having their hands full on the east side right now. Fighting raptors. They got a model, but lost two, looks like, and CSM were there to help out. And now power bashing as Toilailee split his forces quite well here. CSM heretics and sorcerer on one side, raptors and CSM the other. Where are the other spare heretics? They are also coming to the northwest-ish. Warlock all alone, and he's got some war gear up. He kind of like a one-man army, a very, very good brawler. But in his default state, much easier to deal with, of course. Can't be a mini Chaos Lord and he's got nothing. Howling Banshee's up to level 2 with Aspect of Strength. Tier 2 for Lacia as well. Has a decent amount of resources. Could get a Falcon up. No sign of it yet. Gets on the power though. Straight through. Shuriken to cover. There is a big area to approach though from this side. Good placement of the second one. Not too close, not too far. Where are those raptors? They are at base. Toilailee getting the best of most of the exchanges in tier 1, but did have to reinforce quite a lot of stuff. And now here comes a Wraithlord for Lacia. Banshees doing their thing. They've done okay in tier 1. Mainly down this eastern front. Raptors jumping in. Not going to be able to jump again, but the sorcerer is here to tie up the second shuriken. Certainly giving Toilailee to something to think about, the double shurikens. He's dealt with them pretty well so far most of the time, but now there's going to be a Wraithlord stomping around. And so is the Autarch. These guys didn't even have to retreat. In the ascendancy is Toilailee. The only real threat on the field, the big threat, is this guy. The giant golden Wraithlord. Oh, here we go. Here's a new threat. Which Blade of Kurnus is up. Wipes out some heretics pretty quick. This is a just over 70 DPS power melee weapon. Plague Marines, it's their lucky day. They just got a direct hit with that missile launcher. Bad luck, Lacia. Those guys going for the garrison, so Raptors give up the chase. What's this? Heretics in amongst some Dire Avengers. Some really good heretic usage from Toilailee, just after losing a squad, of course, but they've done well. Using them separated mostly on both sides. Howling Banshees getting their Exarch back. There she is. Autarch has her spear as well. Wraithlord smack. That only killed one model. Oh, maybe two. More Plague Marines for Toil. Sorcerers level 2. Raptors. This could be dicey for them to jump in with Banshees, Autarch, and a Wraithlord there. Can try and isolate the Shuriken and the Dire Avengers, of course. Not sure where they are right now. There's the Dire Avengers. The Shuriken is still in the garrison. It is. There's that demonic fury sending the Autarch flying. Banshee's getting in around though. Nicely done by Lacia. Getting rid of a whole bunch of squads. In fact, the entire army over here. Did not want to mill around with Banshees at your back. Here's the second Plague Marine squad with that sneering missile launcher. Get a hit on the Wraithlord. Uh-oh. Lassi has a bug. I don't think she can control her Wraithlord now. Well, that's very unfortunate. Now she seems to have control. Takes out a Raptor model. And another. Dawn of Bugs too. Wraithlord is going to fall. I think that's what it was. I think Lacia lost control of this Wraithlord momentarily and it just ran into base. 338 to 170. Triple cap here for Lacia. But can Toilailee now come back with this massive army he has? Raptors drop their aspiring champion. Gonna give it a good go. Warlock jumping in. A really good ethereal slash here. Everything's bunched up. Could be amazing. See that red debuff circle? That's the Plague Marine just slowing down nearby enemy infantry. Where's the ethereal slash? Right in there. There's a good special. Banshees are in. There it is. Almost whapping out some CSM there. Really good fight for Lacia. Wipes out the Raptors, I think. Yes. And Heretics taken care of. Really good fight. Banshees looks like they will get away okay. But the Warlock is still here. Gets a special. Going after the CSM. Might have cut that a bit too close. Looks like she judged it well. Yes, the Warlock gets away. Awesome fight for the Eldar there. The first time we've really seen that melee prowess make a big difference. Sorcerer tries to finish off the Warlock and does it. Nicely done, Toilailee. Level 3 this fella now. Still a double cap though for Lacia. Can't quite resurrect that guy yet. Plague Marine trying to cap. Slowly. Autarch's going to jump on him. There it is. These guys will explode on death, knocking back and damaging enemies, which is bad news for the Banshees, but they are going in. There's a Dark Flames. Uh oh. Shouldn't have retreated. Although moving out this way would have put the Banshees in a bad position, I think, so this might be safer, especially when you are so far ahead on VPs. Oh. Warp Spider's in the field. Double cap, sees it out. Those Shuriken fellas were in this garrison the whole time looking after the VP. And Lacia gets the game. Seemed like Toilailee did a lot better than the VP counter would tell you. Just got outmaneuvered a hell of a lot. That last melee fight was pretty powerful for Lacia. Both of these fellas had aspiring champions at the end. They were getting Eternal War. Yes, they were. No upgraded Dire Avengers, no upgraded CSM for most of the fight there. Level 3 Sorcerer, the level 4 Warlock, the Witchblade of Cronus, making a massive difference. And it's 2-1 now to Lacia. I will see you guys in Game 4. Hey people, Intrid here, back with Game 4 of this Elite League semi-final. We are on Greentooth Gorge, and Lacia has a war boss, a melee hero that can walk through objects, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. Very highly reinforced jaw as well, so don't try and knock him out. Over on the red side, Toilailee bringing out the Lord General. Fights range combat begins with the retinue of stormtroopers. Very strong defense and support capabilities. Double sluggers for Lacia. Some shooters as well, of course, because you always need some backup. War boss moving out to the wreck. Does not go mid immediately then. Here's the first Sentinel. Will we see two from Toilailee? Seems to be the way he's playing with Imperial Guard at the moment. Can frustrate the Orcs for sure. Getting in some shots, these fellas, these poor sluggers with their slugger guns, their 1 DPS slugger guns. Hey, they did 15 damage, there we go. Now some melee. Poor bastards. Guardsmen capping mid, sluggers have found a Lord General to chop up. He doesn't like that. He'll happily tie up range squads, but doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with a melee squad. There's a good stomp though. Beautifully done. Led one of the sluggers back to the other and stomped on both. And here's the second Sentinel. We need some more Dackle Boss. War Boss does a special attack and misses. Pretty athletic, really, for like an 8-foot fungal ape thing. Look at that. Jump over the head of a guardsman. Still in play is the War Boss. Just ripping through those guardsmen. Shooters here inside the garrison. 2-to-1 cap very early on for Toilailee. One of the sluggers actually fell. And Lacia going for looters now. Maybe double looters. Or maybe just like 2 more shooter squads or something. How small is this building, by the way? Power bashing over there. What's this? Guardsmen. Gonna meet some sluggers though. I'm not too happy about this. They're already in a jungle. Melee charges in. They're gonna catch him. I like how one of their melee attack animations is just firing their gun. Sentinel always there. Right place, right time. Especially when you have 2 of them. Multi-laser turret is up. War Boss is not happy with it. Hard Boys, that's one of his global buffs, giving him 25% damage resistance. Trying to use it to take care of this thing. Looters are persuaded to leave. And the War Boss also cannot stay in play. Second looters are up. Have these big def guns. Will do a lot of damage to the Sentinels if they get close. But Toilailee is not in the habit of doing that. Already dominating the map here. Double Sentinels give you such a strong early game. And full power bash here, I think, for Toilailee. Trying to get back a game to make it 2-2 in this semi-final. Guardsman will push down the east side, go for his wreck point most likely. Load is down. Do you both have your stomp? I think you do. Yes, you do. The multi-laser ties back to full health. Triple cap here for Toilailee. Warboss has taken so much damage as he tries to get in. Might need to use his angry bits to get in. Staggering forward are the death guns of the looters. Need to stagger forward again, fellas. Already a 200 VP deficit for Lacia to make up in this game 4. Sluggers on the east side capping. Gonna meet double Sentinels though, it looks like. I'm not sure they'll finish that cap. And the Lord General takes the garrison. Gives you, I imagine, quite a lot of resistance against suppression being inside the building. What are these fellas up to? Just having a look. They'll find this already uncapped, which makes the Sentinel sad. There we go. Found something to decap, hold on. Some spotters up for Toilailee to help him deal with the double looters here. Second one is mid. These guys can infiltrate, as you can see. Might want to turn to face the Sentinels, catch them coming in. These guys will move forward. Shooters with their big shooters. Warboss, oh, gives up the decap. Gonna take some more lasgun shots here, big fella. Gets it though. Sentinels kind of dancing around this power node here. Some strange ritual going on. There's a stomp. Sees off those fellas. They couldn't get the cap. Warboss though is pissed. There's that special attack again that misses. 229, 500. Warboss seen off quite easily in the end. Triple looters for Lacia. Maybe. Why not? How many spotters can he get? Or they might open up here. Oh, they didn't open up. There we go. Big damage on the Sentinel. Toilailee didn't seem to be too panicked about it. Drops the mortar shell. And the Sentinel lives. Could have walked out of the firing arc this way. And maybe got a stomp or something. But Toilailee can't see the firing arc like we can. And there is triple looters up. Certainly brought a whole bunch of Dakar. Is it enough? Sentinel getting very low but does live. Spotter smoke shell used to shut down those looters. Now the Warboss is going to have another go. Maybe it's a good idea for him to get his custom shooter to help chase down the Sentinels. That was painful for the Lord General there. Was that 2 hits, 2 kills on those fellas? Lacia now edging forward on the power with sluggers who have burners and looters. This could be really good. Uh-oh. Oh, no stomp. Have you already used your stomp, Mr. Sentinel? Maybe you have. I think you have, and I think Lacia knows it. Indrid did not know it. Sees the Sentinel off. Now can go for a power bash, perhaps. Might want to move the Sentinel up a little bit or reposition the sluggers so they're not so easily shot. Or they're actually quite easily shot. Warboss is still on the rampage. Push things back all the way to the HQ there. Looters now capping. 4 looters on the field for Lacia. Meanwhile, Toilailee has a Chimera on the way and Lacia is not in tier 2 to fight it. Not too far away. These guys can't quite finish the bash. Looters will probably stay here to try and just hold this stuff up. Spotters can drop a shell on them. Might get a model before that though. It's a lot of damage on the Lord General here. Oh, wipes out the Lord General. Misplay from Toilailee. Thought that shell was going to come in a little bit quicker there. But that guy got shot up. Now he's twitching. Has to get some more stormtroopers. stomp. So we have these guys, we have these fellas kind of wrapping around the west side. Those guys are back at base already, and these guys are mid. Uh-oh. Low-level shooters caught in retreat, but unfortunately for them, they're fighting guardsmen. We can't really melee them. Sentinel tries to finish them off, and they do finish them off. So close to escaping, you fellas. So close. Sentinel turned and got those last few shots. Another good stomp. Can the Sentinels survive with 4 looters on the field? Here is the tier 2 for Lacia. Get some tank busters up, I guess. Keep all those death guns. Power bashing. Double looters here. Should be able to stop it, you'd think. There's a suppression. Do they have their... Yeah, one of them has the commissar. One of them still just a sergeant. There's tier 2 for Lacia. 150 to 475 has a lot of VPs to make up though. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. Lord General gets his commissar retinue fella to give him that shield. Useful when there's orcs shooting at you from every possible angle. Come on, guardsmen, you can do it. You've got those bayonets. You've got those bayonets. Couldn't quite get them. Taking a garrison. We do have a beamy death gun looter. Is it just the one? For now, it seems to be the one. Death Dread on the way. 127 to 475 on the VPs. Shield goes up. Oh, doesn't save that fella though. How many stormtroopers are you going to get through, Mr. Lord General? Looters can't get close enough to the Chimera, and that's been the problem. Players that fight Toilailee's double Sentinel into Chimera build just can't get close to that Chimera. Warboss coming in. That's a stomp. Not quite close enough to these fellas, who all have defensive buffs from Carapace right now. Suppression immunity, pretty handy when you have a whole bunch of looters against you. They did take out one of them. I think it was the one inside the garrison. They just shot it down. So there's 3 looters left. And the Death Dread is stomping around. What's the deal with this thing? Is there an orc inside it? I think it's maybe like a grot inside it or something. So it seems quite small to fit an orc in and still have him able to like pull levers and stuff. Gets the burners and bits. Guardsman just being born from this Chimera right now. Uh-oh, upgraded sluggers on ya, using their swampum. There's no suppression here to stop them. There is a Sentinel, there it is. Now the Warboss takes over. Uh-oh, sluggers almost dropped. Beamy looters again can't get too many shots in on the Chimera. Death Dread coming in. Might get a rear armor smack or two. Here we go. Crack. Oh hey, missile launcher Sentinel. There's crack missiles coming in. Turns to engage the guardsman, I think. Maybe. Yep. We've got a melter gun Lord General, which is why the Death Dread is trying to tie it up. Can't tie up a Sentinel, of course. Doesn't have a melee attack. And the Death Dread is going to fall. One more crack. There it goes. Down it goes. I think it was a melter gun that finished it. Sluggers come barreling in. Immediately eat a stomp. Just so hard to approach this. Looters, meanwhile, are capping a VP on the east side. Going to get 2-1 is Lacia. Down to 76 VPs, though. Good mortar shells. Another Death Dread. I mean, if everything else was here, to fight alongside the Death Tread, that might have been a good engagement for Lacia. But as it was, it went in alone and then died eventually. Not doing any real lasting damage. These guys are very slowly bashing the power. Is there still a beamy? There is still a beamy. Here it is. Power bashing. Now Slugger's getting in. Sentinel's out of there. Sentinel's too low to rely on for stomps right now. War Boss level 4. He's certainly chopped up a bunch of guardsmen here. Leveling up there was the Lord General, I think, to 3. Oh. Basilisk. Creeping Barrage. Bad news for setup teams. And that gets Lacia out of there. Another Death Dread, though, on the way. 76 to 436. I wonder if Storm Boys would be worth it here. If they could jump in, get that instant stun, then he could approach a lot better without 24 guardsmen shooting at you. A Weird Boy, of course, would also be able to stun from range, although they have to get kind of close to do it. No Weird Boy, no Storm Boys. We see another Death Dread. Sentinels level 2. Ogren's on the way for Toilailee. Guess they can go toe-to-toe with the War Boss, toe-to-toe with these Sluggers as well. This guy holding out on the east side. Can Lacia get a quick triple? I don't think so. Those guys are going to decap. Here's the second Death Dread. Well, the third Death Dread. But now there's 2 up at the same time. This could be a good push for Lacia. Is there anything that can get around the back? Any way the beamy Death Guard looters could get around the back there? Lacia not waiting for him. Has the double cap. Wants to keep the pressure up. Here we see an epic melee fight. Spotters versus looters. Spotters run away. Sluggers are dropping. And there's a stomp. And there's some Ogrins getting their boned leader. Meanwhile, though, Warboss gets the cap. Double Death Dreads. I mean, if both of them get in on the Ogrins, they're going to chop them up, you would think. Triple now. Here are those looters. Does this one have a shot? Doesn't seem like it. This is a bad idea, Lacia. You guys are too late. Warboss also having a bad idea. Orc's not the best at ideas. What is it called again? Fight harder, the Meltagons give you. Pretty damn useful. Death Dreads are now being chased back by the Sentinel. Lord General trying to get in there, but Meltagon's much shorter range than the Sentinel's missile launcher. Here we go. They're getting in. You'll notice that the Stormtroopers also get Meltagons. He's actually forcing close combat there to make sure they chase. Heavy turret coming up now. 76 to 263. Ogre's joining the fight. Not sure where they went. There's some healing to do, maybe. Both of the Death Dreads fall pretty easily. GG, says Lacia. Needed that Weird Boy, I think, to help approach the blob of guardsmen. A Weird Boy alongside one of those Death Dreads could have been a much nastier fight for Toilailee had to have to deal with. Had the level 3 Lord General there. Warboss level 4 and down. Don't think he had any war gear. It's a fun fight, though. Whole bunch of looters. But now the series is drawn 2-2, the series. We're going to go into the decider. And I'll see you in Game 5, guys. Hey people, Intrude here, back with the 5th and final game of this Elite League semi-final. We are on Quest Heresy, and Toilailee has found an orc. Hits a mech boy. Teleported here that fights range combat. Puts out some good damage, can also support, disrupt, build structures, and repair. Because some ominous glowing eyes over there. Up against Lacia with an apothecary. Support hero that fights in melee combat by default begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura. The Dark Angels DLC recolored over here. Got some red robes. Double shooters up for Toilailee. We've seen some interesting builds from Lacia. Whole bunch of looters, triple Hormagaunts. No second scouts. And we're going to see the shooters head mid, I guess. And maybe catch those tactical marines not facing them. Some free damage, guys. Mech boy packs a decent punch with his default shooter. That doesn't look like much, but it'll kill you pretty good. Where's he going? Oh, he might maybe find some scouts over there to pick off. Nope, he's going to join the mid. These marines, not going to work out too well for you fellas. He teleports in and ties them up. There's two-handed overhand swipes with his shooter there. That would hurt, I think. Well, maybe not hurt a marine, but a guardsman, that's like instant death. I think 2 bursts and he kills a scout if they weren't in retreat there. I think, maybe it's 3. Oh, shooters, yeah, turn around, face the pipe. Sluggers being sneaky, trying to find a way in, and they've got one on the apothecary now. And some of those mech boy left hooks. Here's a second tactical marine squad. Slugger doing some good work. I guess we'll see shotguns. Here they are. Allows the shooters to do their capping and mech boy to teleport over there and cap. Good start for Toilailee. Space Marines often pushed back early on, only to come back stronger, and here's the double tax now. A very solid base for Lacia early. Oh, might get a kill on the mech boy. Barely gets away with a teleport. These guys, of course, capping faster than normal will allow Lacia to get some map back pretty fast. They're going to chase these shooters around, are they? Might need to just retreat, fellas. There's one model down, and then they're going to try and go through these marines. Here comes some help. We've got some storm boys up. And there's a jump. Power weapons getting in on his marines. Purification rites maybe from the apothecary. Nope. Yep, there it is. In response to these guys jumping all over your squads. And it's ready to go. You might see it here. There it is. Only hit one model, I think. Purification rites does some damage and knockback when you heal something. And damage scales with level, as you can see. 433, 479. Scales very slightly, but still scales. Orcs keeping the pressure up. These guys now with a knob leader to spot any sneaky scouts. Sergeants on the way. Did the Marines actually drop models? I don't think they did. His shooter boys did. The Sluggers using this corner a lot to cut down the time that the Marines can shoot at them. And here comes the mech boy. That was a battery pack heal. And Sluggers, because of that, do not drop a single model. Look at that. Scouts, are you going to finish the cap, fellas? There we go. Might want the Sanguine Chainsaw to help fight these Storm Boys and Sluggers as well. But the full auto Storm Bolter to stop this mech boy doing his thing will also be great in the fights. Look at that Dakar. Storm Boy's now getting in. Set up by the suppression from the big shooters. Purification Rites does its thing. But the other squad are in big trouble. Big trouble. They get away. We do have a second scout squad up. Also with shotguns. And why not? The first one over there doesn't finish the cap. Sluggers coming back in. They don't have their burners, but they'll happily fight some Marines. Those Marines getting too close. 433 to 438. Full gens up and 2 gens there for the Space Marine player. Might get a nasty grenade over this wall. Sluggers, are they going to charge? I was going to say, might not want to charge shotgun scouts with a grenade. Stormboys getting in though. They will escape. Where are the Marines? They're coming back out. Well, Stormboys are getting in and doing some work, even with the Purification Rights heal. It's getting the best of these engagements with all that DACA, and then these guys jumping in, displacing the range squads. Shotgun blast. The heal goes in. Again, these guys pretty healthy. The mech boy himself can heal, of course. And they're easily able to just power through with that battery pack helping them out. Needed the second scout there, maybe, for the second shotgun blast. It's tough. Now a full bash to go along with it. Stone boys going for the cap. Protected by this wall, of course. You can chuck a grenade over it. You're going to chuck a grenade, fellas? Nope. A lot invested in these double scouts in terms of resources. Needs to make them pay off. They haven't protected the Marines so far from melee, which is often their job, which sounds weird. There's that heal again. Gets rid of the Storm Boys, but now Sluggers come in. Looks like they will be dealt with here. A war banner went up. I guess Toilailee thought he could stay and play a lot longer there. I guess it's going to go down, is it? Oh, this one guy's shooting it. Nope, needs to get capping. Can't stand around and shoot war banners. 2-to-1 cap here for Toilailee, who goes tier 2 in very, very good time. A weird boy would really screw up Lacia here. Haven't seen one yet in this matchup. Look at this though. Flamer doing some work. Storm boys will jump. Set up guided suppression. Causing an instant retreat from those guys. Maybe the Purification Vials would have been better than the Purification Rights here. To punish the melee squads. Hard to say. Scouts get their cap. 2-to-1 for Lacia. Starting to have an impact now, spreading out, causing mischief. Uh-oh. Instant retreat again. Lassi would love to get to tier 2 and get the Dreadnought in these guys' face. Oh, they didn't finish the cap there, the scouts. Go for the grenade rather than the shotgun blasts. Got 2 models with it. These guys now with their knob leader. We can now try and cap again. Losing the VP though is Lacia over here. Death Dread it is from Toilailee, not a weird boy. Might force a missile launcher purchase, which I'm sure Lacia does not want to spend 40 power on right now. No big shooters for these fellas yet. Shoot more stuff and maybe you'll get one. Level 2 Marines and almost level 2 Marines. Does not go for, oh maybe. Gonna run into a Death Tread though. Flame is not so good against vehicles. Don't think Lacia is paying attention to, oh, we go. Retreat is up. Apothecary's in trouble. Did not use her heal, but she's okay. Eating a lot of DACA to the face there. Mech Boy continues to be a massive pain in the ass. Been very good at splitting forces so far, Toilailee, in this matchup. Yeah, Marines just can't stand against the Dakar. They need cover. There's not a whole lot of it now over here. And now with this fella stomping around breaking it. Can they get a hit? No. Death Tread does not get a hit. Heavy melee headbutts from the Stormboy. Not be the 3 in a row there. 4 in a row. That's a tough head. 375 to 400. It's a no-cap game. Sluggers on the power. Lacia goes tier 2 and what do you do here? Do you save up for the Dreadnought? Might just be a case of get Devastators up, try and play defensive, wait for the Storm Boys to jump it and punish. Don't see any sign of missile launchers, so it might just be the case that we see a las cannon here. Here are the devs. I think I'd like to see the heavy bolter stay in and then get missile launchers up. Otherwise the Storm Boys just jump your devs and this guy saunters in with no missile launchers to threaten it. Uh oh, Marines getting very low. There's another jump. Can't quite get them. Storm Boy's really bad at chasing stuff. It is a las cannon. Okay. We'll see. Map is looking very blue right now. Can't really get anything else on the field to support. Can't really get a librarian up. No resources. Power is down. Las cannon getting shots on Storm Boys apparently. They'd actually hit. They've certainly lost some health. Single cap now for Toilailee. Gonna get a triple though, I think. Lacia finding it quite tough to fight all this melee with mech boy support. Uh oh. Nice heal. Good grenade. Oh, grenade kills the scouts, I think. Oh. That's a concede. That's to concede. An anticlimactic ending. But as you can see from the map, Lacia was very far behind. I thought that was going to be a nice grenade to start turning things around, but it, I think, did more damage to the scouts themselves than the Storm Boys. The double scouts didn't really pay off. The Sluggers and the Storm Boys were still able to terrorize the Tactical Marines. Of the carry. Maybe Vials were the way to go. It certainly would have been very scary for the Storm Boys and the Sluggers coming in. It's hard to say. Toilailee played it very well. And Lacia put up a hell of a fight throughout the series. There you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the second semi-final.